Hello there everybody, how is it going and how have you been? I am EuclideanSqd, and we're back here in Duel Links to check out one of the two events that are currently going on. Basically for whatever reason Konami decided to launch the next two events on their schedule within 24 hours of each other. A little bit weird considering I don't think they've ever done that before, but point is, basically just probably an hour or two ago, the Solemn Odeon event began. I am not covering that because that is a roaming duelist event. I don't have a farming deck available. I don't know what cards are available, or what cards are best to use against him. So we're just going to kind of pretend that he's not here right now, and instead we're going to focus on the Tag Duel Tournament, which this is a new iteration of this event, but it is in and of itself is not a new event. If that makes any sense, they have held Tag Duel tournaments in the past. And the basic premise is that you partner up with an AI duelist, and you take turns at the end of each turn. So basically, when the duel begins, say I win the coin flip, I get to go first, then one of the opponents goes, then my partner goes, then the other opponent goes, then it's back to me. And I honestly really like the Tag Duel tournaments. I wish they would hold them more frequently, or just have more to do with them whenever they do hold them, because it is actually a really fun change from the rules. Although it is mildly annoying because sometimes your AI partner decides to do something really stupid, and then you have to play catch up for their mistake because you're not allowed to control their cards. They just do what they want. Or at least at first. Basically, once you beat each cup, then you can turn manual control on for your AI partner, and then you can play as though you just have two decks. But anyway, so in the Tag Duel Tournament, there are effectively 3 cups you can play in, 2 of which are available now, one of which will unlock, I want to say, later tonight / tomorrow night, depending on when this video goes up. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure it's going to be later tonight of the day that this video airs. But basically, each cup is going to be harder and harder. You have to finish the prior one before you unlock the next. So, for example, if I just go over here to change cup, so you have to start in Red Dragon Archfiend Cup. Once you clear it once, you can then go to Blue Eyes Cup, and after you clear Blue Eyes Cup, you will then go on to the Armed Dragon Cup. No prizes for guessing who your mysterious partner is for that one. Spoiler, it's Chaz. You can literally see his silhouette in the, yeah, you can see him right back there. He's not even fully, silhouetted out. I can still see his face. It's Chaz. It's not a surprise. Anyway, a new feature for the Tag Duel Tournament, however, is that once you do clear a cup, you can change your partner to effectively whoever their rival character was for that anime. So, in the Red Dragon Archfiend Cup, you start with Jack Atlas as your partner. Once you clear it, you can then turn on manual control, and you can also switch to partnering with Yusei Fudo instead if you prefer. I'm not actually sure. I think to turn on manual control, I think you have to examine their deck. Yes, you have to examine their deck, which is nice because you can see all the cards that they're going to be using. Their decks tend to be very simplified and have a very straightforward strategy, and then you can just hit the switch to turn manual dueling on. And I wonder, do you have to set them separately? You do have to set manual dueling separately. That is kind of annoying, but this is the first time they've done multiple partners for the Tag Duel Tournament, so I can understand if that feature isn't quite as nice or as convenient as it could be. But anyway, so I'm going to do one of these Tag Duels right now. Hopefully I will win, because then we can move on to the second part of what I want this video to be. In case you can't tell, you can kind of see the reward that I'm aiming for right there on the screen if you look carefully. But anyway, I'm just going to quickly show off that Kaiba's deck is very powerful. It is clearly meant to very quickly summon a Blue Eyes or the Dragon Spirit of White, which kind of a weaker Blue Eyes, but it has the bonus of banishing one of your opponent's spell or trap cards whenever it is normal or special summoned, in addition to basically tributing itself, just hit the desk, basically tributing itself to become a Blue Eyes if your opponent currently has a monster on the field. You can get this card in one of the structure decks. I think it's only one per deck though, and they are very obnoxious to deal with. But regardless, this is Kaiba's deck, very power focused, very much designed to stop the opponent whenever they may try to attack, and effectively kind of brute force stall until he can get in Ancient Rules and special summon either Blue Eyes or Dragon Spirit of Light with that. Now ideally you could use any halfway decent deck to work in the Tag Duel Tournament. That's what I've done in the past, but I decided to have some fun this time around, and I designed a deck that is kind of meant to work with my partners. And in this particular case, I'm just showing it really quick. This is not a fantastic deck by any stretch of the imagination. This is just a deck I designed to also special summon big scary dragons, as well as put in some much needed spell and trap destruction and just some other cards that could kind of help along the way. So it's not that important of a deck. I just wanted to show it really quick in case anyone wanted to try and copy it for themselves for this event. I'm not going to be putting up a little deck overlay in the corner. It's not an important deck. It's not a farming deck. It's just something that I'm using. So, with enough prattling, let's go ahead and go into the tag duel. Oh yes, to actually participate in these tag duels, it does work kind of similarly to the Duels Chronicle events or character unlock events, in that you participate in regular duels outside, that is against other NPCs, other legendary characters in the PvP arena, whatever. You earn tokens. In this case, I think they're called tournament invites or something weird like that. They're basically little black envelopes, and you then spend them to participate in each duel. You have your choice of difficulty, 20 to 40. If you beat it at level 40, you get a bonus for your duel assessment. And this is important because the higher your duel assessment, the more lottery coins you get to spend in the lottery. So yes, we've gone from the lottery event for the Duels Chronicles to a lottery event for the Tag Duel Tournament. I'm not particularly happy about that because I basically spent well over 17,000 Millennium Coins all totaled in the Duels Chronicles. I did a really, I spent most of the last day of the event just grinding through for experience on my characters. Got a whole bunch of cards, or a whole bunch of coins in the process. Spent 17,000 Millennium Coins, and I only got like 2 Elemental Hero Grand Merges. But anyway, moving on. So it looks like these guys have immediately ritual summoned a level, or a 3200 attack point monster. No effects. Okay. This is not a fantastic start. I don't necessarily want to reshuffle my deck because I'm going to get a Widespread Ruin next turn, which I know because of Ishizu's ability Prescience, or Prescience, or however you pronounce it. So, what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and set Guardian of Felgrand. He's not going to be that much of an obstacle, but if I remember correctly, yeah, Paladin of Felgrand has even less defense points. Kaiba is immediately summoning a Dragon Spirit of Light, immediately exchanging it for a Blue Eyes White Dragon. He's got a Luster Dragon. Yeah, why didn't you... You could have destroyed the Masked Beast with the Luster Dragon and then did more damage by attacking Melkid. That's the sort of annoying thing with an AI partner, is that they don't quite play optimally, or sometimes even logically. Like, seriously, with this deck that's designed to summon like Felgrand Dragon and Arcbrave Dragon out of the graveyard, Kaiba could have had a 4,000 plus Felgrand at one point, but instead he picked a 2,500 Dragon Spirit of Light when the opponent didn't have it, and then he didn't use the effect to banish an opponent's spell and trap card. So, logic is not something that your AI partners are particularly gifted with, but again, if you have a decent enough deck or a specialized deck meant to work with theirs, you kind of don't need it. we go. I feel like I've probably rambled and ranted more about my AI partner's intelligence than you've actually spent in the duel. Okay, now see, that was a good play. Because that special summoned the Dragon Spirit, that got rid of his face down card, and then he used his special spell card to revive my Felgrand, so that was a good move on your part that time, Kaiba. That time I approve. But anyway, so one against Lumis and Umbra. Sorry if anyone was expecting some sort of, here's the ultimate deck you can use. The strategies that each of your AI, the opponent teams are going to be using is going to change from round to round. So Lumis and Umbra are going to have a different strategy compared to when it's Yami, Yugi, and Joey, compared to when it's, what was one of the other pairs? Rex Raptor and Mai. So there's not really going to be a definitive everything, works against everything deck, so just build the best thing you think. If it's a good standalone deck, build a good standalone deck. If it's something to support your partner, something to support your partner. Just use your best judgment. But anyway, with that relatively simple duel done and completed, we have unlocked probably the most needless addition to the game, I'd say. I'm not reading the text. If you want to, go ahead and just pause the video at some points. Yeah, in case you couldn't tell, when you complete the Blue Eyes Cup for the first time, you unlock Lumis and Umbra as playable characters. And that's kind of what I meant by probably the most needless addition. Because, like, who actually wanted Lumis and Umbra as characters? The only thing I could, I'm much more familiar with the anime than the manga, I will admit. Maybe they had a much more prevalent role in the manga. But in the anime, they only did, like, one notable duel, and they were kind of a joke before that. Like, they showed up, they were a joke, they got obliterated by Kaiba's Obelisk the Tormentor. Showed up again, forced Yami and Kaiba into a tag duel, sort of. Lost again, were never heard from again. So, I don't know, they're the next new character. After the completion of each cup, you get a little sort of thank you from your partner, I guess. Kaiba's being Kaiba. Not much I can say about that. But I can now manually control him as well, so don't have to worry about that. And then, yep, in case you couldn't tell, your partner is Chaz for the Armed Dragon Cup, which is going to unlock later tonight. Again, when this video goes up. So, since we got Lumis and Umbra unlocked, let's go ahead and, well, first off, collect the icon. We're going to ignore these because those are part of Solemn Odeon. And then, yep, they have level up rewards. So, let's go ahead and take a look at what they've got. Starter deck is probably going to be really bad, as most starter decks are. Somewhat decent, mostly because their ace monster, Masked Beast Asgardius, has very odd and specific summoning requirements. So effectively, it is a level 8 Dark Fiend with 3300 attack and 2500 defense. Cannot be normal summoned or set, and it must first be special summoned from your hand by tributing 2 monsters, one of which has to be either a Grand Tiki Elder or a Melkid the Four-Faced Beast. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls and equip the Mask of Remnants from your deck to it. So, very odd monster. In case you were wondering, Grand Tiki Elder and Milk the Four-Faced Beast are these two cards. So you do start with one copy of each, which is actually kind of considerate. But they are both level 4 Dark Fiends with 1500 attack. Milkit has 1200 defense and Tiki Elder has 800 defense, so they're not fantastic monsters to begin with. But you do effectively have to have one of them available if you wish to special summon Descardius. Then the other card Descardius works with is the Mask of Remnants, which is a very bizarre little spell. If you activate it from your hand directly, it just shuffles itself back into the owner's deck. However, if the card was instead put into play by Descardius, it behaves as an equip card, and control of the equipped monster is switched. So effectively, Descardius is a big, scary 3300 attack point monster that if it is ever destroyed, or is it destroyed, or is it just... Yeah, it doesn't even have to be destroyed. It just, if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, so if you tribute it, if it's destroyed, anything like that, you basically get to steal one of your opponent's monsters. Assuming that they have a face-up monster. If they have only things face down and they do something like Widespread Ruin, Descardius, then you can't take their stuff. But yeah, so Descardius is actually kind of a scary card, all things considered. It's very awkward to summon, but it itself is a very, very strong Fiend-type monster that when you lose it, you gain your opponent's monster. Or the best monster your opponent currently has. So, I actually kind of like Descardius, honestly. I don't think I've ever really successfully built a deck around it. I don't think I've ever really been that interested in building a deck around it, but it's kind of a cool monster, all things considered. And then looking at all this other stuff, yeah, all this stuff looks like it is really bad. In fact, none of the other monsters... Okay, no. One of the other monsters in his deck has over 1000 attack points. These are all really weak. I would not use any of those cards. And then what's this other spell? So you also get 2 copies of Chosen One, where you select 1 monster card and 2 non-monster cards from your hand. Your opponent randomly selects 1 card among them, and if it is a monster card, it is special summoned and the other 2 go to the graveyard. However, if not, everything goes to the graveyard. Okay, that's kind of a... Sorry, hold on just a second. Oh, sorry about that. If you heard me blowing my nose, I had a weird little itch or tingle in it. Anyway, very odd spell. You need 2 non-monster cards that you are absolutely okay with sending to the graveyard. I don't know of many spell or traps that readily want to activate in the graveyard. The only ones that are really coming to mind are things like Galaxy Cyclone, which you'd have to wait a turn to use. A-Cell Recombination Device, which you'd have to wait a turn to use. And plus, in those 2 cards' cases, you're also really missing out on their initial activations effects. So like Galaxy Cyclone, you can banish it out of the graveyard to destroy a face-up spell or trap your opponent controls. But if it goes there with Chosen One, you don't then get to use it to destroy a set spell or trap card your opponent controls. So I'm not sure how good Chosen One is. I don't think I'd use it, but I feel like there's got to be a use for it somewhere. But anyway, enough staring at this bad starter deck. Let's go ahead and start going through their rewards, which definitely seem like they are meant for somewhat newer players. Because I think you could get both Grand Tiki Elder and Melkid from dueling Yami Merrick. I think. I'm actually going to double check that after we finish checking out their level up. But anyway, at level 3 you get another copy of Grand Tiki Elder. At level 4 you get their skill Mask Exchange. Which, if we can find it in here, Mask Exchange. Add 1 Masked Beast Descardius from your deck to your hand. then return 1 Mask of Remnants from your hand to the bottom of your deck. This skill can only be used once per turn and twice per duel. Alright, that's actually kind of a cool skill. I think that is the other thing, is that many of their skills are meant to work with Descardius. Maybe other mask cards, I'm not sure, we will find out shortly. But that's actually kind of cool. That's kind of like the My Name is Ubel skill, where you can return the related cards back to the deck to actually get like the start point, quote unquote. So, and that's actually also really good, because otherwise Mask of Remnants is kind of a really bad thing to draw, because it just shuffles itself back into the deck. You don't get a replacement card for it, so it's kind of a dead thing to draw. But you could use their skill to basically just turn it into another copy of Descardius, effectively. That's kind of cool. Level 7, you get another Melkid. At level 10, you get a copy of Curse of the Masked Beast, which is a ritual spell to ritual summon the card you get at level 11, the Masked Beast. Surprise! It's the level 8 Dark Fiend, 3200 attack, 1800 defense that we saw in the Tag Duel. No effect, it's just meant to be a brute force sort of monster. At level 13 we get Mask of Impregnability, which can only be used in tag duels. Okay. Till the end of your opponent's next turn, you take no battle damage. The skill can only be used once per duel. So the skill is effectively going to become worthless when the Tag Duel Tournament ends, unless Konami's planning to do more with tag duels. Which, again, I would not be upset about. I like the tag duel system. It's just very odd that they would create a specific skill for that. Moving on, level 14, you get Mask of Weakness, a trap card where you target an attacking monster, and that target loses 700 attack until the end of this turn. It's not that fantastic of a trap card, but it can be a pretty nasty surprise if your opponent isn't expecting it. Level 16, you get another Tiki Elder. At 18, you get a Curse of the Masked Beast. At 20, we get Curse of the Remnant, which is a skill that says when a monster is equipped with a Mask of the Remnants that you control, that monster gains 1000 attack. Okay, so doesn't make it easier to summon or find Descardius, but in exchange, if you do lose Descardius, the monster you steal becomes much more powerful. That's kind of interesting. 21, you get another copy of the Masked Beast. 23, we get another Melkid. 25, you get a Tiki Elder. At 30, we get Light Imprisoning Mirror, a continuous trap that says negate all light monster effects activated on the field or in the graveyard. Kind of cool. Sure, you could think up some pretty devious strategies with that. 33, you get Curse of the Masked Beast. At 35, we get Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, which is a continuous trap that negates all dark monster effects activated on the field or in the graveyard. At 38, you get another Masked Beast. At 40, we get Mask of Restrict, a continuous trap that says neither player contribute cards. Ooh. That's kind of a scary trap. Because it doesn't say tribute summon, it says tribute. Which means I don't think you can tribute stuff for special summons, you can't tribute stuff to activate card effects. That's actually a really powerful trap. Wow. Okay. And then at 45, we get a Mask of Darkness, a level 2 Dark Fiend, 900 attack, 400 defense. Flip effect, target one trap card in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. Nice little monster. So, I can't say I'm overly thrilled with most of their level up rewards, because I'm pretty sure I have a lot of these copies from the Yami Merrick events that were held a long time ago. So a lot of these kind of feel redundant, at least for me. If you're a newer player and you missed out on those events, you can at least get these cards this way. But again, I need to double check the Yami Merrick at the gate. At least I think he's at the gate, just to check his rewards. Let's go ahead and go through the rest of this skill, shall we? So they also get Life Point Boost Gamma, which gives you an extra 2,500 life points at the beginning of the duel, but your hand is reduced by 2. Very risky skill. Life Point Boost Beta, where you get 1,500 life points, and you start off with 1 less card in your starting hand. Heavy Starter, so if you have 3 or more level 5 or higher monsters with different names, you have a higher chance of starting with a level 5 or higher monster. Draw Sense Spell Trap, Draw Sense High Level, and Draw Sense Dark, all of which, after you lose 1,500 life points, you draw a random Spell Trap, High Level monster, or Dark monster for your draw, like for your start of turn draw. Draw Pass. During your draw phase, instead of conducting your normal draw, you can instead recover 300 life points. However, you can only do this up to 3 times per duel. And then I think we're getting to their new card, or the unique skills. So first off, we have Spell Dispel. The effects of all spell cards targeted by Mask of Dispel that you control are negated until the end of the next turn. This skill can only be used once per turn and twice per duel. Okay, and what does Mask of Dispel do? Mask of Dispel, continuous spell. Select one face-up spell card on the field. The controller of the spell card takes 500 points of damage during each of your standby phases. When the selected card is removed from the field, destroy this card. Okay. So if they have something like an equip spell or some kind of a continuous spell or something like that, field spell, you can use Mask of Dispel to target it, and then you can use this effect to negate your opponent's spell's effect until the end of their next turn. But you can only do it twice per duel, so you do have to be selective about it. Okay. It's interesting. You can definitely use it to... If it's an equipped spell, you're probably going to use it to turn off its effect so you can destroy whatever monster it's equipped to, but... So you're not going to get the residual burn damage, but probably helps you get rid of an annoying monster. Anyway, we already checked Curse of the Remnant, Mask of Impregnability, Mask Tribute. Okay. Return one card from your hand to your deck, then randomly play one Grand Tiki Elder or Melted the Four-Faced Beast from outside of your deck. You cannot summon any monsters other than Masked Beast Descardius during the turn you activate the skill. The skill can only be used once per turn and twice per duel. Okay. So I clearly understand the concept behind this idea. Presumably, if you have a Descardius in your hand, the idea would be you set something big and tough in defense mode. Next turn, or actually, hell, yeah, because Descardius is a special summon, actually, so you just play a monster, return something else from your hand to your deck to summon Tiki Elder or Four-Faced Beast, doesn't matter. Immediately get rid of both for Descardius. So, providing you have Descardius and a level 4 or lower monster, this skill basically lets you summon Descardius without having to have Tiki Elder or Four-Faced Beast in your deck. This is actually an incredibly powerful skill now that I think about it. Why do these, like, E-list villains have such a good ability? Whatever. Then it looks like they only have 2 more skills, so we, oh no. We already looked at Mask Exchange, never mind. So, Light and Dark. Choose one of the following. Return one dark monster from your hand to your deck, then add from your deck to your hand one light monster with the same level and type as the monster you returned. Or, the opposite, return a light monster, then add a dark monster with the same level and type as the light one. The skill can only be used once per turn, twice per duel. Seems a bit weird compared to all their other skills, but, what is it? Fuck, what's his name? Blackluster Soldier? I think there's some cards related to Blackluster Soldier that like to work with light and dark monsters, so this skill might help you use those cards. Not super familiar with them, so I can't think of their names right off the bat, but alright, that's kind of cool. Yeah, so that's a very quick overview of the Tag Duel Tournament, and an overview of what Lumis and Umbra have to offer once you unlock them. So I think we're going to go ahead and end this duel by skimming through this really quick. I swear I've seen Young American here. Eagle, Rex, Mako, Keith, Shizu, there he is. Yes. Yes, this is very weird. You can get Tiki Elder, Melkid, Mask of Remnants, and Descardius from dueling Merrick at the gate. And considering he is permanently at the gate now, at some point you will get unlock missions to unlock him at the gate, which means you can farm him for those cards. So aside from keeping to the theme, I don't understand why they would give, like, why they would take up card slots on Lumis and Umbra's level up list with Tiki Elders and Melkids. I'm sure there's other mask cards. They could have given you another Mask of Weakness, maybe. Although I think you could... Actually, wait a second. Can you get Mask of Weakness in a box? Because I didn't mean to click on the gate key. I wanted to open this. Because now that I think about it, I swear I've seen Mask of Weakness before. I mean, unless I'm just... Mask... Yeah, I have 2 Mask of Weaknesses already. So, it's a Merrick level up reward. So you get 2 Mask of Weaknesses by leveling up Yami Merrick, and you get another one by leveling up Lumis and Umbra. Okay. So it's not a box like I originally thought, but Lumis and Umbra do have a lot of overlap with Yami Merrick, and that's really weird. I don't know. They're a very polarized character, I feel. Because on the one hand, I don't like them. Because, again, they only showed up for that one duel as far as I can remember. I don't think you ever even heard from them again. I don't think anyone even referenced them again. And a large amount of their level up cards are also acquirable by leveling up Merrick, or by dueling against Merrick. And in fact, actually... Yeah, sure. How many... Like, do you actually get any Melkids or those things by leveling Merrick up? You get a Descardius by leveling up Merrick. There's the mask. Another mask. Okay. So you get 2 Mask of Weaknesses and a Masked Beast Descardius by leveling up Yami Merrick. And you can get Tiki Elders, Melkids, and more Mask of Remnants by dueling Merrick. Which means that a lot of their themed cards, or key cards, or signature cards, whatever the hell you want to call them, for Lumis and Umbra are available through Yami Merrick. So that kind of stinks. I mean, they're not at the gate, admittedly, so I don't know what Lumis and Umbra are going to have when they show up at the gate, but that is somewhat disappointing. But on the other hand, a lot of the level up cards that aren't shared with Merrick, and a lot of their skills, are actually kind of cool. So, I don't know. It's a weird choice. I don't have anything else to say. So, yeah, that's the Tag Duel Tournament and Lumis and Umbra. Not much to say in the event other than just bring a solid deck. Hopefully you can make it through the first round, or the first completion of each cup without much issue, so you can turn on the manual dueling for your partner, because that makes it a lot easier. And then, yeah, you get Lumis and Umbra, and they're another character for you to level up for gems and cards and all kinds of other stuff. So, there you go. We're going to be covering Solemn Odeon in the next day or two. So with that, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all had a great time, and I hope you all have a great day. And I will see you all in the next one.